Is the human being free in thought and action, or compelled by the unyielding necessity of natural law? Few questions have been the focus of so much ingenuity. The idea of freedom has many enthusiastic supporters and stubborn opponents. Moral zealots accuse anyone of being narrow-minded who can deny so obvious a fact as freedom. They are opposed by scientific thinkers who regard it as the height of ignorance for anyone to believe the uniformity of natural law to be suspended in the field of human action and thought. The same thing is as often called humanity's most precious possession as its worst illusion. Endless distinctions are used to explain how freedom can be compatible with determinism in nature. Man, after all, is a part of nature. No less effort has gone into explaining how this delusion could arise. The importance of the question of freedom for life, religion, conduct, and science is felt by anyone with any depth of character. It is claimed that free will is possible when one makes a completely indifferent choice. When faced with two possible courses of action, the choice is arbitrary, entirely at will, made without being determined by any reason. The indifferent choice is free of any lawful necessity because it is made without rule or reason. The freedom of indifferent choice is opposed in a book that intends to construct a new faith from the results of scientific research. This book is a sad sign of the superficiality of today's thought. It only has this to say on the question of freedom. We are not concerned with the question of free will. The supposedly indifferent freedom of choice has always been recognized as an empty illusion by every reputable philosophy. Making an indifferent choice is not a factor in determining the moral value of human conduct and character. I quote this passage because it expresses the only opinion our thinking contemporaries seem able to reach on the question of freedom. Everyone who has grown beyond elementary science is certain of one thing about freedom. There is always a specific reason why a person carries out one action from among several possibilities. But this is merely stating the obvious. Opponents of freedom direct their main attacks against freedom of choice. Freedom of choice is not indifferent. It is to make a choice according to what you want, according to your own preferences. A popular philosopher refutes freedom of choice by arguing that our choice is determined by our wants, our desires, but we are not free to determine what we desire or don't desire. That everyone is at liberty to desire or not to desire as he pleases is the essential principle concealed in the dogma of free will. This freedom is refuted by the analysis of consciousness. Introspective observation shows that freedom of choice is not to be found in our desire nature.